Welcome to CAN TV 21 Hotline. Let's talk etiquette. I enjoy saying that word. It's just such a profound word, such a meaningful word, such an awesome word, etiquette. And my name is Nathan Wright, and I'm with the Etiquette Foundation of Illinois, and I'm so pleased to be here with you once again. The subject for today is just going to be very, very special. And I hope that you're tuning into this show because it is right at the core of who we are as a people. Etiquette, manners, and morals. And call me. Yes, please call me at 312-378-1060. Give me a call. Join in this conversation with me. Now, today, as you know, last week we talked about prom etiquette because it's just such a meaningful subject for which our young people have just totally strayed from the basics of professional comportment, formal event. But today, I can just let you know that we've had 2 schools contact us about our program, and we're meeting with them as we speak. We have a meeting tomorrow. And so we are very, very pleased to know that the show got the word out there. Someone was listening and called us. And so we are so pleased to try to work with some of our young people who need that training, need it so much. And we're just happy to be able to do that program, even if it's just for 1 or 2 schools. Hopefully it'll catch on and we'll be doing all of the schools in Chicago and even in the suburbs. But today I'm going to deal with a subject that I think is so important and so meaningful because, as you know, we are etiquette mavens. We teach manners and morals. We teach professional comportment. And one of our schools in the suburbs have us there with the alternative kids. And these are some really great young people. And the lesson that we dealt with on yesterday was really, I think, so important that I want to share it with my general listening and viewing audience, this particular subject. And let me give you some background on why this subject particularly is important. Because what is really happening with our young people, they seem to have a problem understanding how the social, economic, and political system works in this country. And it's like a 3-legged stool. You have the economics, you have the political, and you have the social. And so they all have to work together in a unified way in order for economics in this country or capitalism to work. So on yesterday, I devoted an hour to teaching them how this system functions, how is it structured, and why are there rules for each component of this system. And they were just really thrilled with that particular subject. So I'd like to share some of the lessons that we taught. Because what I did, I wanted to start them to understand what capitalism is. You have to first understand the free marketplace, the free enterprise place. Capitalism is at the foundation of our entire existence because we all need money. We all need to earn money in order to survive, in order to feed ourselves, to house ourselves, to clothe ourselves, and all other things that money requires. To buy a bottle of water, you have to have money. So what our kids are lacking, we're beginning to understand, is an understanding of how the entire system works and why etiquette is such an important component to this social relationship that we have on this 3-legged stool. So what do? We started out with giving them a very brief, not a lengthy, you could take a whole year to teach a subject like this, but we wanted to do it in 2 sessions. So we devoted Tuesday to it, and we're going to devote Thursday to this particular subject. So what is it? Okay, let me give you some basic information here of what we share with the students. Okay? So if you look at this, it says an economic lesson on the role of etiquette in American society. Okay? What is the economic foundation of America? And as you see there in large letters, capitalism. Okay, then we have it set up in such a way that they can take notes. As a national economic system, what are its objectives? Okay, so why is it so important for the young people to understand our economic system and what is its objectives? And essentially, is to make a profit. Okay, all businesses have to make a profit in order to remain in business. If you aren't making a profit, then you're having a loss. It's unlikely that you will be able to remain in business. So everything is driven towards one objective, to make a profit. And I tried to explain it very simple to our young people. And the class is simply, if you invest $1, you need to make $1.25, $1.10, $1.02, whatever, $1.50. You need to make a return on your investment. And this is how the system is structured. And with that return, you can begin to do all kinds of other things when you are making money. And so if you invest $100, you want to make $150. And so I made it very simple for them to understand how this system works, so that they will be able to understand the importance of etiquette. Because it's a web that ties it all together, and that's the social relations that you have with your employers, your employees, and so on and so forth, with your community. So this social web that ties us all together is etiquette. And so for them to understand why it's important to learn this discipline, I had to give them some examples of its importance. And so I took some very kind of simple things to share with them. It's like basketball. You know, they understand basketball to a degree. I said, first thing you have to do is learn the rules of the game, and then you have to adhere to those rules. They're not going to change the rules for you, no matter how good you may be able to play the game. If stepping on the line is a violation of the rule and you're out of bounds, then you have to turn the ball over. And therefore, what are the consequences? Because you're being penalized for breaking a rule. And so those are the kinds of examples that I gave the young people in the class, be it basketball, be it football, tennis, golf, whatever that game is made up of a set of rules. And I explained to the young people in the classroom that most disciplines in terms of athletics, you need to practice for at least 10 years in order to hopefully be good enough to be paid or to get a contract. And so it's a lot of time invested in something that you may never see a dollar from. But you can invest 10 years into developing this, and you can be paid handsomely. You can be rewarded handsomely. You're going to be rewarded in some form if you invest 10 years in developing your intellect and your discipline in a given number of areas, especially the social side of that discipline is going to be huge in terms of where you go and how far you're able to go. And so that was the kind of start of this economic lesson that I wanted to share with them so they can get an understanding of the basic fundamentals. Okay, then it goes on, the greater the profit, the more wealth you will incur. So in other words, the higher your profit is, the more wealth you will incur. And I gave some examples. One in particular is Nike. Mr. Phil Nike is a billionaire about 10, 20 times over. And so I explained to the young people that the reason Phil Nike is so wealthy is because he's able to charge 100%, 200%, 300% for his products. A pair of sneakers may cost him $15. And that includes shipping. And he wholesales them out for maybe $100. And then the retailer sells them for $200. So he's making, for a $15 investment, he's making 200-300 times that amount back. And so it's easy to become a billionaire if you're making those kinds of return on your money. And so that was the example I gave them so they can understand how capitalism and the for-profit incentive really works. And so what is it? It's a relationship between you and I and business. Everything is made by some business. This mouse here is made by some business. And to make that mouse, they would have to make a profit in order to be successful. This paper here is made by some business. And this is a billion-dollar business making paper. And so I wanted them to understand that everything in this society, a paperclip, here's a paperclip, billion-dollar business, a fortune is being made. It's a simple product. It's low-tech. It doesn't require no more than having the machinery and the personnel to produce these. And they'll be around for another 20, 30 years probably, as long as we have paper. So our young people fail to understand that everything in this society exists because someone made a profit. If they didn't make a profit, it wouldn't exist. And so getting them to understand that is very, very difficult in reality, because they have not been educated to understand how this economy functions. But my objective with this lesson is to get them to see the relationship between their ability to be successful and their etiquette skills, their social comportment skills, how important that is in your relationship with your coworkers and with your colleagues. And so that's the objective. In terms of where they want to go, the profession they want to pursue, it's okay, whatever that may be. But at the end of the day, they're going to probably be working with other people. And so your social skills in terms of how you present yourself in your place of work is very, very, very important. In fact, it may make the difference of whether you're given a promotion or whether your pay is increased, and all of those benefits from your social relation with people. And so this is why this system is so important in terms of your bottom line. And so it could make the difference in whether you earn another $3, $4, $5 million in your lifetime, or maybe more. And if you're going into business, then you're going to see probably a much higher return, because your opportunity is going to be virtually unlimited. Okay? So moving on with the lesson, the next page, after that little simple presentation, it's a little three lesson, session that I gave them. But let me give you this next one here so you can see what the next sheet is about. It says, for-profit making entities are identified as sole proprietorship, company, corporation. The entire social and economic system is governed by a set of rules. Whether you're in business, you have a set of rules. Okay? I mean, if you violate some of those rules, you could be penalized, you could be fined, you could be even in prison easily. So you have a set of rules for business that you have to adhere to. And if you fail to do that, then, like paying your proper share of taxes. I mean, there are 100 different things. Fraud in terms of deceptive practice with a product. You misrepresented the product for which it really wasn't. And so there are all kinds of business scams that goes on every day, and a lot of it's right on your computer online. So there are a set of rules that the government enforces in order to keep everybody on the same playing field. Okay? And then that's the company. Now you have the employee of that company. And so you're required to adhere to a set of rules based on your contract with the company. If you're an employee, you have a contract. And that contract spells out all of the rules of your social conduct and your business conduct. What they expect you to produce as a manager, as well as what they expect from you as an employee that has good professional social soft skills, so that you can bring a degree of harmony to your relations with your fellow employees. or co-workers. And so what does etiquette do? It teaches you manners and morals. You have to be ethical. Yeah, there's no room for you to be any other way if you're going to survive in business, because there are a lot of scams that you may be introduced to or maybe asked to participate in some companies that you know is not right. And so your ethics is very, very important. And just to give you an example of that, at Harvard removed ethics from their curriculum at their business school maybe 10, 15 years ago. And why would they do that? It could be for only one reason, because a lot of the students that graduate go off to Wall Street. And so Wall Street wanted a group of unethical people, not all of them, but many of them are, so they can do some of the things that they do and get away with. Okay? So you want to teach them about ethics in terms of your relationship with the subject of etiquette. So we teach manners and morals. Okay? So we want them to understand that your social skills are who you are. They represent you, the person. And this is your opportunity to present yourself in a way that's professional. Okay, so let's go back to the overhead here and let's look at some of these other things we covered. The relationship between American business and society is governed by a common language, by a set of social and business rules. Now let's talk about the common language that governs all of our interactions, business and economic, social, is the language, the English language. And I'm telling my students, you have to master the English language. Even if it takes you 5 years to do it, it's worth doing, because 5 years are going to pass anyway. And your advantage is by mastering the language. Now, I'm talking about diction, verbalization, being able to write the language well. Those are qualities that are premium in the workplace. If you speak the language correctly and use great grammar, it's gonna mean 10, 15, 20% more added to your value as an employee, and maybe even more. It's the language that dictates how far you go and where you go and what your potentials and opportunities are. So we start with telling them the English language is a way to present yourself to earn a higher income, a much higher income if you speak the language well, if you have great diction, if your grammar. I mean, a lot of our young people, regrettably, they're still saying huh, and yeah, and all of that. Those sounds and utterances have no value, not in the workplace. It may have value on some stage where you're walking around and going on. But in the real world of work and the skills that are required to be a professional, you're not going to benefit by that kind of language. And so what do? We're telling them you have to start practicing now. You have to stop saying huh, because those sounds will not serve you in the real world. And remember, the language is the language of the nation. Okay? And the language is connected with the money, the opportunities in the nation. And so if you want to fit in and generate larger income above minimum wage, these are qualities that you will have to have in order to do that. And that starts with your presentation as a person. And what comes out of your mouth will tell your employer what kind of person they are hiring. And so, and if you get hired and you're considered for promotion, it's because of your language skills in most cases. Because what are you? You are a representative of that company. and how you present yourself among your coworkers or among other individuals belonging to some other company or employed by some other company, and you come together for some conferences or whatever, then those relationships are critical in business. And the reason for it, because most products, there are maybe a dozen companies, 30 companies, 50 companies, are together to create one product. The example is like the iPhone or the cell phone. It may be 150 companies participating in that production, that one item. And so your relations with others in other areas of the business world that may be related to your product or services are essential for you all to network and work together. And so we're trying to get our young people to understand how important the language is and the usage of the language. Okay, let me go back to the overhead. Let me see what else we have on this lesson. And I said here, the last line, the foundation of employer-employee relations are contractual. So that's one of the things that I think they need to understand about being employed. You have a service to offer, a skill to offer, and your employer will compensate you if you can do that and do that very well. So that's one aspect of it that is important. But let me move on because we're running low on time. We only have about 4 minutes left. I want to go over this last part of this lesson. Now this is going to be done on tomorrow, okay? So let's take a look at this and see what you think. If for-profit entities are to be successful, a common set of social rules would have to be the foundation of the relationship. Okay? Now that may be a kind of a simple way of putting it, but you have to have some common relationship with your coworkers or with someone in another company or at another company or a sales rep or a customer. These are all social relationships as well as business relationships. But the foundation of the relationship is more about the social side of the two individuals who are in business or discussing business. It may be something as simple as saying, how is your family doing? I heard your kid got a scholarship. Or whatever personal relations that bond you two together in business is an important part of the relationship. So social side is a factor that has to be made into your relations with be it your coworkers or someone with another company. So that is an issue that we want our young people to understand the importance of etiquette in that relationship. It's a well-defined system of do's and don'ts that it doesn't take a lot to learn if you just take the time to learn it. And why should you learn it? And this is one of the things we definitely want them to understand. Why should they learn to speak the language correctly? Because it boils down to simply amount of money. It all goes back to the money. Everything in this society, a capitalist society, ultimately goes back to the money. No matter what it is, has some relationship with the money. And so your objective in being educated is to be able to use this to generate income on some level. Okay? And so that's the essence of the class. And there's some more points here on this page here that I really do not have time to go over with you, but you get the idea of why we are teaching these other steps and stages of our economy, our system of business, so that they will understand its relationship. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put our information up here so that you can contact us if you would like for us to come out to your school and teach etiquette, soft skills for your young high school students. Please, this is so important. In reality, it's millions of dollars in income that they will not earn And so we need to understand the importance of etiquette so that those millions of dollars in opportunities they will have. So contact us at 312-473-2942 or email us at info@efoi.org. Thank you for tuning us in, watching the show. Share the information with your friends and associates. And I'd be happy to be there for them if they'd like to call or send us an email. It will be responded to, and I'm more than happy, and one of my colleagues is more than happy to come out to your school, talk to your principal, and see what we can do to change the direction of our young people and make it possible for them to realize higher income. That's what it's about, right? Okay. Thank you so much, and tune us in next week. Miss Selman will be back with us on next Wednesday, and I look forward to seeing you on that day. Have a great evening.